Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Ibrahim and welcome to the new lesson of the Arabic pronunciation where we learn how to pronounce the Arabic letters, or it is in Arabic called al-abjadiyya, حروف al-abjadiyya. Okay, so we already talked about the letter alif, ba, and ta, and tha. Okay, we talked about alif, ba, ta, and tha. Today we'll learn about a new letter which is called letter Jeem, حرف الجيم. Okay, and we also talked about the differences between ba, ta, and tha. The letter 2, 3, and 4. These letters are different depending on the dot above or under that letter. So ba, it has one dot under it on the bottom. Ta, two dots on top, and tha, there is three dots on top. Okay, there is something similar here. We have Jeem, Ha, and Kha. They look the same. Their only difference is called Nuqta. Okay, which is the dot. In Jeem we have dot in the middle, and in Kha there is one dot above it, whereas Ha, it doesn't have any dots. Okay, Jeem, Ha, and Kha. Now let's talk about this letter Jeem, which is the letter of this lesson. The letter Jeem can be pronounced similar to J in English. So it can be pronounced as Ja, or Ju, or G, Ja, Ju, or G, depending on the haraka. The fatha can above it, or if there is dhamma, or if there is under it a kasra. Okay, each one of them, as we talked, it is called haraka. Okay, so what happens if we want to elongate the sound of Jeem? What we will do is we add mad. We talked about mad earlier. Mad, it is adding alif, waw, or ya after the word to elongate the sound of the letter. So instead of ja, it will be ja. What happened here? We added alif, we added mad to this letter. So ja, ja, ju, ju, and ji, ji. Okay, we are elongating the sound a little bit more by adding mad to this letter. Now let's see how do we write the letter Jeem depending on its position in the word, whether it is in the beginning of the word or in the middle of the word, the Jeem at the end of the word connected to the previous letters, or Jeem at the end and not connected to anything. Okay, so let's take some examples. Jabal. Okay, Jabal. What's above Jeem here? We have Fatha. So we don't pronounce it as Ju or G. We're pronouncing it as Ja, Jabal. Okay, and what's after the letter Jeem here we have Ba. We already talked about the letter Ba. So Jabal. Okay, and both of them they have Fatha above them. Jabal. Okay, Jabal means a mountain. One more thing I'd like to add here is at the end of this word, the letter Lam, above it there is Tanween al-Dhamm. Okay, we talked about it earlier. Tanween al-Dhamm, which means the double Dhamma. Okay, so basically this word can be pronounced as Jabalun. Okay, but we are pronouncing it as Jabal. Why? Because in Arabic we can stop at this word. If you are stopping at that word, or if there is nothing after it, or if it is at the end of the sentence, so we can stop at that word, we make the last letter as silent. Okay, so instead of Jabalun, it will be pronounced as Jabal. And this is what I will do in all these lessons. I will try to stop at the words, and when I stop at that word, I will make the last letter as silent. Okay, sukun, which means making the last letter silent. So another example, Jazar. Jazar means carrots. Okay, Jazar. What's above Jeem here? Above Jeem we have Fatha. Okay, so Ja, not Ju or Ji. Ja, Jazar. Okay, Jazar means carrots, 3 or more carrots. Okay. What if we want to say 1 carrot? We add ta marbuta. Ta marbuta, we already took it in the lesson of the letter ta. Okay. If you'd like to go back to the letter ta, and you will remember what's ta marbuta. If we add ta marbuta here, it will be 1 carrot. Okay. Why I said 3 or more carrots, not 2 or more carrots? Because in Arabic, we have 3 states, not only 2 states, like in English we have singular and plural. No, in Arabic we have singular, al-mufrad, plural, al-jama', and we have something called muthanna, which is 2, the 2 states. Okay? So, jazar. Jaras. Jaras means a bell. Okay? What's above Jeem here? We have fatha. So, jaras. Okay. Now let's see Jeem in the middle of the word. Masjid. Masjid, a mosque. This letter in green, this is Jeem in the middle of the word. What's up under this letter? There is kasra, okay? So we have to pronounce it as G, not Ju or Ja. So G, masjid, masjid, okay? Masjid means a mosque. Rajul, rajul, a man. Above Jeem here we have Dhamma. So rajul, okay? A man. Notice here also I'm trying to give you words with 3 or 4 letters max. This is, it will be easier for you to catch these words, and if you'd like to memorize them and use them later, it will be easier for you to memorize these words. So, now I'll give you another example. Rijl, okay, rijl. These words, they look exactly the same, but the meaning is different. Why? They have, these words, they have the same letters, the same order of letters, and they are pronounced differently because of haraka. Okay, above Jeem, for man, for rajul, above Jeem we have Dhamma, so we have to pronounce it as Ju. Okay, whereas above Jeem, for leg, above Rijl, we have Kasra, so Rijl. Okay, we're making the Jeem silent. Okay, so 2 words with exactly the same number of letters, with the exact order of the letters, but they are pronounced differently. Why? Because of the haraka. We have fatha in the beginning, above ra. We will take this letter later. And in leg, we have kasra under it. So rajul and rijl. 2 completely different meanings, depending on the haraka above or under the letters. Rijl. So now let's see Jeem at the end of the word, connected to the previous letters. Thalj, thalj, snow. Okay, basically it is actually thaljon, but we are pronouncing it as thalj. As I said, we are stopping at that word, so we are making Jeem silent. Okay, so thalj, not thaljon, thalj. We can pronounce it as thaljon, but it's easier to just make it silent if you want to stop at that word. So hajj, hajj, 2 words. Jeem, above Jeem we have Dhamma, and also we have Shadda. Okay, Shadda makes the letter, it's like doubling that letter, the last letter. Hajj, okay? This is the difference between Thalj and Hajj, okay? We are just emphasizing or doubling the last letter, okay? And what's the meaning of Hajj? Hajj is the pilgrimage where Muslims go to Mecca to do their worship, okay? Just if you don't know, just in case you don't know, this is Hajj. Above Jeem, as I said, there is Shadda, okay? So Arij, Arij means the smell of the flowers, Arij. Now let's see Jeem at the end of the word and not connected to anything. زوج. زوج means pair. Not the fruit, but any pairs, like a pair of socks, pair of shoes, any pair. Okay, زوج. And we have here Taj. We already took Taj in the lesson where we learned about the letter Ta. So Taj. So in this word, you should know how to pronounce it because you already know all these three letters, Ta and Alif and Jeem, Taj. And why we are elongating the sound of Ta here? We are elongating the sound because we have mad, we have Alif after Ta, which is responsible for elongating the sound. So Taj, okay? I'm sorry, at the end there is Zujaj. We have two types of Jeem. We have the one in the green, which is Jeem in the middle of the word, and Jeem at the end of the word, Zujaj. And after the green Jeem, we are adding Alif to elongate the sound, so Zujaj. Okay, there is mad here. And Zujaj means glass. And how do we know? We talked about these letters before. If you see any of these letters, then you don't connect Jeem to the letters before them. So a small quiz here to just test your knowledge if you know how to connect these letters. So Jamal, a camel, Burj, a tower, and Najm, a star. Okay? Can you guess? If you'd like to pause the video a little bit and try to guess which letter to put in the beginning. For Jamal, we add this letter, Jamal. For Burj, we add this letter. We are not connecting it to the Ra because we don't connect the letters with Ra. And at the end, we have Najm. Najm, we can put Jeem at the middle of the word. So this is Najm. This is how we write them. Jamal, Fatha above Jeem, and Burj, Burj. There is Tanween Dam above Jeem here, but we are making it silent. So instead of Burjun, we are saying Burj. And Najm, Najm. That little circle above Jeem, it is Sukoon, responsible for making the letter Jeem silent. Okay? So that's all for letter Jeem, and thank you very much.